The plane takes off.
Welcome to episode 18 of our knowledge series, Basics of Electrostatics. And as you can see, we brought Spaceship Enterprise with us here today. What's the story behind this?
Yes, can you remember? I think it was episode 4. We spoke about ion wind back then. We blew out a candle. And then we had a trident that spun on a needle. And then we decided we wanted to make it a little more impressive. We want to build ourselves a really nice ion drive. That's why we've printed 2 spaceships here, which are also mounted on a needle on this rod. This means that they can be rotated more or less freely, as you can see, with relatively little resistance. And now there is a needle tip in each of these printed turbines. If you look closely here, you can see this needle tip. These are connected to this rod and our high voltage generator, which is controlled here via the controller. And if I switch on the high voltage right now, 2 things will happen. If everything goes well, as I imagine, then the planes will start spinning in circles. But something else happens. They throw off so many ions that we both recharge. And since we have shoes with rubber soles, we are insulated. That's why I recommend that you use a grounding cable so that you don't charge your safe unnecessarily. So now we switch the whole thing on at 80,000 volts. The plane takes off. Can you feel it?
Of course, here on my shirt.
So there are already a lot of ions being thrown out. And as you can see, the planes are really starting to turn. It's getting faster and faster now too. The longer we wait, the faster the planes get. And just to give you a house number, we now have 80 kilovolts and 65 to 70 microamperes. This means that we now have somewhere just over 5 watts, which is what drives these planes. So not even that much. And this is of course an ideal propulsion system in space, as solar panels can be used to generate electricity and thus high voltage. But one thing is missing, namely the air from our atmosphere. So there are no air molecules that can be charged. The noble gas must therefore be carried along. And this noble gas is then sprayed into the turbines. The noble gas is then charged via the needle tips and generates this recoil, which then moves a satellite forward, just like our plane here. We can now go up to 100 kilovolts again and see if we can get a bit more speed out of it. Now we have 140 microamps. It's also much easier to calculate. Now we have about 14 watts. And to be honest, I can even feel it in my hair now. I think that's enough. We've sprayed enough ions.
Cool.
And I hope it was fun and educational again.
In any case, I thought it was cool as always, and I hope you do too. If so, see you in the next video. Stay tuned. See you then.